May the 11th, 2025. This is number 1202. Pay attention, because nobody is. We're the only group of multi-billionaires who actually have solved every one of the world's problems. Name the problem, we have solved it. The most fundamental is unocracy.org. We, the people, decide the next best project. Number 2, direct funding. Nothing happens unless the community gets together and solves whatever's going on. 3 is we pick the leader. If we don't like them, we replace them. The entire system of Evote.one is based on Miss Universe pageant. Why does everyone put up and tolerate the crime lords and the warlords? There's millions of them. Because you've been blind washed, is the best way to put it, or blonde washed, no color intended, to think that somebody actually protects your rights. You see, you can't name a single person or group who protects your rights or your assets. The volatility is all designed by the criminal ruling elite. They go by many other names: New World Order, First Families, oligarchs, monopolies. Oh, they've legalized embezzlement, known as stock options, corporate bonuses, and the underground criminal enterprises are in Cabal League, C-A-B-A-L. And the mafia actually runs the world. Call them what they are. They charge you money for protection. If you don't pay them, they will rob you. And they will kill anybody because they don't have any ethics, morals, family values at all. And they'll even use the words trust and integrity and honor and accountability and all these other words in the reverse manner. They're called con artists. So today we're sitting on the belt line in the very middle, showing the entire world why we just went to Governor Brian Kemp so many times. We also went directly to Senator John Ossoff's office building, Suite 1510 at the 271 at Atlantic Station on Friday. And we've been delivering this for now 40 years. And our system is we are the 100% gifting philanthropists who have always been persecuted, threatened, and almost killed by Robert D. Rose, the Duncan clan, Miss Bashama. And the worst ones were all the Department of Justice officials who claimed we don't know about the canceled Cobb County Restraining Order 11.1.1171. Of course you do. It's sitting there on the NCIS database as canceled July 15, 2011. So there was no reason on October 3rd, when I most brutally kidnapped and persecuted, when I was asking for safe haven from you, from the government, from the U.S. military, from everybody. And all my lawyers knew it. My family members knew it. And they all went, that's impossible. Nobody could stalk you or stalk me. Of course they can. All they need is direct access to the databases of the world, and they know exactly where you are, what you're doing. In fact, I'm sitting underneath an open circuit TV. Did you hear the word open? We're going to convert all the cell phones, all the computer devices. They'll be registered in FOIA.one, same as you. No more visas, no more passports. No more restrictions on anybody as long as their integrity rating is above 80%. If it's below, don't do business with them until they come clean. So now everyone's going to focus on how to be good doers, how to be peacemakers, problem solvers, decision makers with PeaceSummit2020.com, which is really now PeaceSummit2025.com. We've already spelled it out. All the world leaders will now sit down and sign, televised, under our direction and authority, every peace treaty and trade agreement of Article 4 of Gods Constitution.org. We also named it SolutionManifesto.com because most people claim they understand God, but they don't. They don't, because they've had a bad experience with someone in a spiritual group, which is really a religious zealot group, and they don't understand the relationship between Father God in heaven, mutual creator, and Mother Earth that we sit on. EcologyMining.org is also the end times reversal. Underground, green, ecology, a robotic mining, where we can mine everything we possibly need to create everything. And by the way, over my shoulder is ICSTAN.org, which is also Phone Cradle. Would have generated $5 million per month in pure profits. And that's been denied, as well as all the other solutions of free education, free energy, free transportation. Oh, I have free transport. But I have all the big ones, which is solutionhousing.org, of only middle class, no one's allowed to go in debt. And the only way that happens is to get rid of the stock market by your efforts and all the mega banks around the world. When everyone uses solutionbankfraud.com, 2 simple methods to get rid of all the cyber criminals. And there'll be years of doing forensic CPA analysis on the general ledger books and the databases to find out who previously stole money, going back 30 or 40 years, maybe longer, because nobody is dealing with reality. No one can, you particularly, whoever is watching this will be the most virally generated pass forward so that people will stop doing the backwards moonwalk, popularized by Michael Jackson and quite a few others. You're walking backwards. You're being scammed. You're being threatened. You're being genocided with warlords. And Evote.one does it at one point. If you don't like the authority, take away their authority. And if they're really a nasty criminal called evil, felon level, seize their assets. Restore it back first to the victims who have to show proof that they were victimized, 3 times restitution. 1% goes back through Fortune1.org, which is the world's greatest organization of 100% gifting philanthropists. You hear the word gifting? Someone has they're on skates and they've got a trailer they're hauling behind them, you'll see it in a minute, that has this boom box on it. So I guess that's one way to go party. Yeah, so he's a young kid too, so isn't that cool? There he goes. So very unique. And I'm sitting in my lounge chair and I've got my mountain bike sitting right there with all the basic information of free listening. And that's exactly what PeaceSummit2020.com does. Teaches everyone to be free will listeners, sovereign citizens, peacemakers, decision-making, and problem-solving experts, which is why I even have the name YodaKeith.org. In fact, I got about 20 websites that have the name Keith embedded because that's the key word. Built by Keith was because I've been building solutions. Creator Keith, because I create solutions. And I'm teaching everyone else how to be their own CEO Keith and creator. So that you have to know who is who and who owns what. We're up to about less than 8 minutes, but this is all universal. I've been repeating this since really the 1972, 76. We have the highest level of IQ of anyone you can possibly imagine. And that's the value of the new Teen Money Machine. I'll spell it out, T-E-A-M, teammoneymachine.com, that applies to everybody. How to crank up a company, bootstrap, serial entrepreneur, and never fail. And worldschoolfund.org is also fundamental. It's free education as long as you don't flunk. Go to any school, get any level of education, master's, PhD level, engineering, apprenticeship, internship, serial entrepreneur, and be paid while you're in the classroom. If you flunk, you get dumped out, owe 2 years previous expenses. That means every community is now responsible for everything about yourself. That's called total decentralization, and all the authority to make decisions goes back to you. It's modeled after an upside down Christmas tree. You become the Southern Star. Everyone above you is a proxy. And above, at the very, very top, is the root problem that everybody focuses on. And that flattens the society down to only middle class, debt free, when everyone does homesteading. Again, that's solutionhousing.org. And our final effort, which is really the original effort in the world history, is futurecity.life. Call John Ossoff, O-S-S-O-F-F. Call Governor Brian Kemp, and definitely call everybody you know, including all the pastors of the churches, the civic group leaders, the influencers who actually do care about we, God's people, all 8.2 billion people. And I'll finally be safe haven protected by everybody, which is what I've been asking for in extreme ways, all the way back in the summer of 2010, when Robert D. Rose was most actively threatening to kill me and my family, my lawyers, anybody who had homewaves.com information. Rose is still alive. He's got 4 mega yachts. He's probably worth more than over $1 billion. So we legally, my group, put a $200 million bounty on his head, which has ended up being manhuntall.com, our finest effort of you, posse style. Go find who the possums are. Why do you think they call it posse? You find the possums, the people that roll over dead, go, it's not me. I'm not a criminal, really. Well, that's why you have to interview them, put them in front of the people, and everyone will use Evote.one and SolutionJudge.com. But the real answer has always been GodsConstitution.org and SolutionManifesto.com. It's the same one. And recursively, we eliminate the warlords and the crime lords and all the ability to do monopolies, and the medias will now be shut down and use the model of only usnews1.org. See, we deserve to get paid trillions of dollars. I'm using the real number. Trillions of dollars, because all that money goes right back to you, the people, greatest need. The first project will obviously be Town Hall Forums, Peace Summit 2020. Second one, we'll be building ecologymining.org so we can unhook from the need for fossil fuel. That's really what all the wars have been about, and there'll no longer be wars over trade and who owns what, because you, the people, will now be caretakers and caregivers of Mother Earth. By now, you ought to figure out that I work for God and work with God, which is really a distinction. I am the Son of Mankind. So are you.